Hi everyone, my name is Maria Lee, and this summer I got the chance to be the communication intern for Cayuga Lake Watershed Network. So before my internship, I'd say that I had a vague understanding of, just the impact that things in Cayuga Lake have on all of us, but I had a general idea of how people use the lake for drinking water and about the lake source cooling program, which are all amazing things, but as a part of the team, I'd say that I really had the opportunity to learn about the connectivity between the organisms in the lake and how big of an impact that they can have on all of us. And I learned about the significance of, building a network of connection within the Cayuga Lake community. So I'm going to read their mission statement. The Cayuga Lake Watershed Network identifies key threats to Cayuga Lake and its watershed and advocates for solutions that support a healthy environment and vibrant, sustainable communities. So one of these threats that annually faces the watershed community every summer are harmful algal blooms. And I'm going to refer to them as HABs. So HABs are actually made up of tiny cyanobacteria living in the lake, and they're the first known source of oxygen in the Earth's atmosphere. During the summer months, warmer temperatures can lead to an overpopulation of cyanobacteria, and this leads to these green murky waters, which is obviously a nuisance, but it's not just unpleasant, but these cyanobacteria also produce toxins that are harmful to people, pets, and the creatures living in the lake. So it's a really big problem. And every summer this danger looms over Cayuga Lake and many other lakes, and there's a need to really educate and equip the community members around the lake to keep themselves safe and avoid this danger. So it was my task to keep the locals around Cayuga Lake informed about the HABs in the lake through a series of weekly newsletters. So my job was pretty straightforward. I knew what I was doing, had the same weekly task, and there was a little bit of flexibility for creativity. So what I had to do was we would receive information from the Community Science Institute and translate that information for the public. But there was a little bit of a problem with that. So this is what we were working with. This is an example of, just what comes up if you look on the Community Science Institute's page for the HABs updates every week. So this is actually really great research because they did their research and there are so many amazing volunteers that work to get all this information out there. But it takes a lot of time and effort to actually go through and read this. And with our newsletter, we're sending this out to about 440 contacts every week. And these are busy community members. They don't have time to be really analyzing this. So it was my job to help make this information more concise for people who are just interested in caring about their community and ways to get involved. And might not have all the time to sit down and try to analyze all of this. So the main goals of the newsletter were to be informative but concise, so to take all of the information we looked at before and make it clearly understandable, so they wouldn't have an information overload. And so I had to find a way to clearly communicate the dangers of HABs and also talk about new topics like climate change or how HABs pose a threat to our drinking water in an interesting and fun way that doesn't have a million spreadsheets in it. So I also wanted to highlight the connectivity around and within the lake. That was pretty much like the main goal of the newsletter, is because we're talking about these tiny microscopic organisms and we're trying to find a way to make that applicable to people's everyday lives. So how do you get people to care about these tiny cyanobacteria? That's what I was trying to work with. So one theory that helps us make sense of this is the Construal Theory, that says objects and events are defined by their psychological distance from you. So people care about the here and now. They care about what they can see and things that they can touch and that are tangible to them. And the more unrelated something is, the greater the psychological distance is. So for HABs, even though you can't see the organisms, we want people to have a high construal of them. We want people, to really be aware that the HABs are having a tangible impact on their lake and their community. So, yeah, we had to find a way to connect the HABs with something that people really cared about. And, who's getting this newsletter are the community members that care about the lake. So that's something that they care about. Let's see. Yeah, so for the creative aspect of this internship, I got the opportunity to come out with my own section of the newsletter, which I called the Creatures of Cayuga Lake section. Something I thought of when thinking about what I really cared about the lake was the creatures living in it. So I thought that by tying into other people's love of the lake inhabitants, we could really, highlight that impact, the tangible impact that HABs are having now. It's not just, the appearance of the water, but we could really highlight the tangible impact that they're having. So, as you can see, we got some really cute pictures from the website, and we actually got some really good feedback on these sections too. People seemed to love looking at the creatures, and it made it really come to life for them. And lastly, I want to dial in on the impact that community partnership had on the newsletters. So the theory of social proof says that people are more likely to care about something or get involved if they see similar others doing the same thing. So we wanted to really focus on, this is a community issue, and we wanted to highlight the volunteers. So there was a large focus on highlighting volunteers. As you can see there's a spotlight interview that we did on a new volunteer. And we also recently did another interview, with one of the Watershed network, one of the staff members. So, we want to focus on to talk about how people can get involved and, just stay connected with the community. So as you can see, there's a little screenshot of a FaceTime call that I had. So I was lucky enough to get to actually have a lab tour because my internship was remote. So I had some lab tours, which is really cool to actually see all the people behind it and all the work that goes into it. And we got lots of good feedback from talking about people's experiences. And I feel like that just, it really opened my eyes to see how important it is to connect, what people care about when you're talking about something like harmful algal blooms and cyanobacteria, which people might not know too much about. So, let's see. Lastly, I'm just going to highlight their motto, the Cayuga Lake Watershed Network's motto. It takes a network to protect a watershed. So, like I said, before the internship, it seemed pretty straightforward. I knew that I would be writing and sending out newsletters, but I really learned so much more about all of the behind the scenes work and the community members that are taking their own time and energy to volunteer as a part of this project to really care for their community. And I was really inspired to get to be a part of this network over the summer. So thank you.